Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel. Suspect in murder of cop's daughter fatally shot, says police. The man believed to be the suspect in the murder of 14-year-old Tiana Sutherland on Wednesday has been fatally shot by the police. Sutherland was on holiday with relatives in Blue Maho in St. Thomas when she was chopped to death by a man who reportedly gained entry through an open grill. Initial reports said the man was believed to be of unsound mind. The police said the two appeared to have had a tussle during which Sutherland was stabbed multiple times. It is alleged that she was able to inflict a wound on the culprit and also alerted her father, who is a policeman, via a telephone. Her father arrived on the scene and discovered her in the kitchen with multiple stab wounds. She was rushed to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Residents reported seeing a man running from the scene in bloody clothes. The police said swift investigations led them to a concrete dwelling nearby where they observed a trail of blood, which led them to bloody clothes. Upon entry, the lawmen said they were attacked by a naked man armed with a machete. The police reportedly took evasive action and shot the suspect. The building was then searched, and the teenager's phone and jewelry were found on the scene, the police said. The now deceased suspect has not yet been identified. The incident was reported to the Inspectorate and the Professional Standards Oversight Bureau and the Independent Commission of Investigations. Businessman freed on fraud charges, seeking damages for malicious prosecution. A St. Elizabeth businessman who operated an overseas employment agency and was arrested in 2014 and charged with multiple fraud-related offenses is suing the state for hundreds of millions of dollars after he was freed of the charges. The businessman was accused of operating a scam and was arrested and placed before the courts on multiple criminal charges, an ordeal which he said caused him egregious embarrassment and the ultimate collapse of his business. In a claim filed in the Supreme Court on June 30, which has since been served on the defendant, the Office of the Attorney General, businessman Everett Jackson, who was the Chief Executive Officer and owner of Caribbean Recruiting, a registered company licensed as an overseas employment entity and which had helped hundreds secure jobs, said his agency was well established with a good track record. The claimant, who spent a year and a half behind the bars after his arrest in 2014 and who said he was rearrested approximately 10 to 12 or more times due to new fraud charges being laid against him each time he appeared in court, is seeking special damages in the hundreds of millions, figure redacted on request, plus damages for false imprisonment, malicious prosecution, and the damages for loss of earnings. He is also seeking aggravated damage for false imprisonment and malicious prosecution, exemplary damage for false imprisonment and malicious prosecution, as well as vindicatory damages plus interest, his attorney's fees and the court costs. The charges, which included 10 counts of conspiracy to defraud and 89 counts of fraudulent conversion and obtaining money by false pretense, stemmed from a 2014 incident involving a female client who had been refunded via a check. According to the particulars of claim document, the client, after being refunded via check, requested to be paid back in cash instead because she did not have the national identification requested for her by the businessman's bank to encash the check. According to the businessman, he met the client at the bank to facilitate the encashment of the check, but upon withdrawing the sums from his account to hand it to her, she revealed that she did not have the check to facilitate the exchange. He said the female client, who had been accompanied by 2 other female clients, insisted that they all would not hand over their checks, and so he withheld the cash. In the fracas that ensued, the police were called and he and the 3 women were taken to the Halfway Tree police station in St. Andrew. The businessman said while he was in the process of giving his statement, an inspector of police entered the office and, without interviewing or questioning him, ordered that he be arrested, stating that the company was a scam. The women were then reportedly told by the police to call everyone they knew who were clients of the company to come to the station as quickly as possible with their receipts so criminal charges could be filed. He was subsequently charged for 10 counts of conspiracy to defraud and 89 counts of fraudulent conversion and obtaining money by false pretense. The entrepreneur, who said he was held in deplorable conditions at Halfway Tree Police Station lockup for a year and a half, said he suffered emotional distress, disgrace, indignity, and the uttermost humiliation outside and inside court arising from the plethora of charges and the announcement by a parish court judge that he should repay or refund all his clients. He further charged that the prosecution relied on very frivolous and tenuous evidence and maliciously prosecuted him because there was no credible evidence that his agency was a scam. In further defense of his suit, the 63-year-old man pointed out that several of the criminal charges were dropped by the Crown before the matter proceeded to trial because there was no credible evidence that a Caribbean recruiting was a sham entity or that he committed any of the said criminal offenses. In July 2019, the businessman was found not guilty on all counts. In 2022, all charges were dismissed. According to the businessman, the actions of the cop caused him mental anguish, embarrassment, indignation, a feeling of disgrace, and resulted in him being ostracized by his business partners. He said the situation also resulted in his agency's license not being renewed based on the court's condition for bail, which restricted him from communicating with any of his clients and not engaging in employment recruitment of any kind, leading to his business folding. He said had the inspector who ordered his arrest taken the time to investigate, it would have become apparent that his company had followed the contractual arrangement for refund requests. Furthermore, he said the other two women had not made any request for refunds and therefore were not entitled to demand any cash refund from him that day at the bank. He said the cop deliberately incited, encouraged, goaded, urged and spurred on the women to call some 50 others to lodge complaints against him and acted in a high-handed manner by taking him into custody. The shamed businessman is in the meantime contending that he was inconvenienced by having to attend the court from December 24, 2014 to January 18, 2022, approximately 8 years, in addition to having to report to the police daily for several years, and from having a curfew order and a stop order imposed on him, leading to the ultimate collapse of his company and bankruptcy. Jackson is being represented by attorney Anthony Williams of the law firm USIM, Williams and Company. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.